Hi guys, Louis defending Elvis. How's it going? We're back, right? So the brand new defending Elvis. We have been rejuvenated. We have a rebirth. So there is a new way forward. If you go and watch the videos I made this morning, two videos, one on the live, one on the normal, and I've posted a couple of shorts as well. God, that's a nice coffee. You know, sometimes when coffee is just really nice, that's one butter coffee, guys. So I don't want to do a big speech. I want to do this quick because we are going to read chapter 10 of this book. And the reason we're going to read it is because I want to read the love letters in chapter 10 between Elvis and Anita Wood. Yeah. Now, I've been telling you guys that I'm going to read the love letters on this for about 6 months. We've been so Once Upon a Time, Elvis and Anita, written by her daughter Juanita Brewer Barrett. That book is lovely, absolutely lovely. Now, obviously, I'm always careful with reading, so we will read, but we will ad lib. I think you're gonna love it. So the brand new Defending Elvis. We have slightly changed our name. We're still called Defending Elvis. We always will be. But we've added in with a forgiving heart. With a forgiving heart. So we can't carry on as we were. Yeah. We can't just keep challenging people and arguing with them. We will be shut down. We're going to annoy everyone, create loads of enemies. And we can't go on like that. If we're going to survive, of course we're going to defend Elvis, and I'm still defending Elvis. If we're going to survive, we need to try and be more understanding, respectful, and we need to be more forgiving, yeah, and just different, yeah, which I'm pleased with, yeah. I like the new way forward. I actually really like the new name, yeah. So defending Elvis with a forgiving heart. I just like the sound of it. Goes good. So sometimes we have to remind people we always were an Elvis channel that also defended Elvis. Yeah, and obviously when I say defended Elvis, Lisa, Marie, and you get it, and the bloodline. Yeah, get it. So we always were that, but we tended to lean towards defending more than the Elvis, like just an Elvis channel, and then eventually it became defending Louis. Yeah, defending the right to be a defending channel. Yeah, too much of that, not enough of the Elvis stuff. Yeah, so and too much of falling out with people. Come on, guys. So we start again. We start anew. This is a new beginning. I always used to read bits of books. I always used to do loads of different Elvis topics. There are thousands, yeah. I want to do some defending, so I was going to do Presley Mania's video that she did with Amy Collett concerning the lawsuits, yeah. So that's something else I want to do. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it today. I'll try. So I'm going to jump around. I'm going to go from defending to Elvis stuff, yeah. Elvis related stuff, anything that relates back to Elvis, yeah. It could be someone Elvis loved, like Muhammad Ali. Just anything that's how we're going to be, jumping around. And I want everyone to know I will not argue with people. It's not going to happen. Anybody talking about me, saying negative things about me, will be ignored. I'm not being lured into an argument, yeah? I'm just going to do my thing. And remember, I love what I do. I love being a Defending Elvis channel. I love it. I don't do it for money. I do it because I love it. Yeah. I can't help it. So let me just, right, okay. So here goes, guys. So this lovely book. So of course, I highly recommend people buy this book. That's right. Let's warm it up. Right. Chapter 10. Now, you guys know that my reading is terrible. I'm not a natural reader. I left school when I was 15. I left home when I was 15. So how many pages? 1, 2, 3. Then we have a love letter. Now let's see how long that takes. If it doesn't take too long, we'll read 4, 5, another love letter. Yeah. Yeah, so there's quite, these are very long love letters. I don't want these videos to be too long, but around half an hour each video, slightly longer. So I might have to do chapter 10 in two sections. Now, I can't just read the book from beginning to end. I'll get copyrighted. I'll get striked. So we're going to have to do it in a way where we won't get in trouble when, we've got 2 strikes as we stand. So we've got to be careful. I'm allowed to read parts of it and talk. I'm allowed to do that. And so that's what we're going to do. Chapter 10 is called 5,000 Miles Away. Almost immediately, the press called Mama for interviews or statements. Now, just so you understand that, this has been written by Juanita, her daughter. So she refers to Mama quite a lot, and Mama is Anita Wood. We love Anita Wood. Yeah, beautiful, stunning, talented. Probably the most likely girl that Elvis would ever have married. Yeah, we know that Gladys and Vernon loved Anita. In fact, everyone loved Anita. Even Donna Presley has shared her cherished memories of being with Anita Wood. And Donna Presley has posted a lovely video talking about her time as a young girl with an older Anita Wood. Yeah, very interesting. Go and watch it. Yeah. So when I say Mama, we're talking about Anita Wood, okay? Remember, her daughter wrote this book, yeah? Almost immediately, the press called Mama for interviews or statements about Elvis. She was well rehearsed on what to say and what not to say. She always played down their relationship. Whenever someone asked, Whenever someone asked, that wasn't easy, considering how she really felt. And every once in a while, she'd let the truth come out, at least a little. But whenever that happened, she always quickly covered herself by changing the topic. So I think this refers to Colonel Tom Parker wanted her to be perceived as being a single woman. Elvis to be a single man. Yeah, Elvis sort of, I think, was pretty convinced by Colonel Tom Parker and that it was better for record sales that he's known as a single man. Yeah. I think the Beatles had that problem as well, didn't they? John Lennon, I think they did that with him. He was married and they sort of kept it hush-hush, didn't they? Yeah. So I'm a big Beatles fan, guys, just in case you don't know. I'm a big fan of the Beatles. Right, of course, the press reported every move from the army duties to the pretty Fraulines who Elvis always seemed to be accompanied by. Just make sure we're recording. They always seemed to accompany him, all of which Mama followed in the papers. You can imagine how hard that was for her. So we've got to imagine Anita Wood's back in Memphis. She's spending a lot of time at Gracelands. She's got a very close friendship with Gladys and Vernon. Yeah, and I think whoever else, whichever Presleys were at Gracelands. Yeah, and they were very fond of her. All right, my son just walked in. Sorry, 1 second. This is so hang on a minute. Let me just see if I can get Rio. If I play a video, you can tell me. Yeah. So I'm just going to play a little video, and then I'll quickly speak to my son. Then I'm going to come back, carry on reading. Right. Let's bottom that down a bit. Okay, let's have a look. Hang on a minute, guys. Let's get the video up. So there's one video that I really like that she does. Anita Wood. I've only got to speak to my son for 1 minute, and then. But I wanted to play some of this anyway. Let's have a look. Where are we? Let me get my earphones on. Is this the one? No, not the one. 1 second. Is that the one? Let's have a look. Anita Wood upset with Priscilla. There's an old one here. There's one in particular that I want to play that I really liked. Oh, there's that old black and white footage. Why is it doing that? Anita Wood, Elvis. I know what it is. It's an interview. Anita Wood interview about Elvis Presley. 1 second, we are nearly done. I think that's it. Let's have a look.
I met Elvis in
Yeah, this is it.
I met Elvis in 1957.
Just check you can
I
see it,
was
guys.
on Top 10 Dance Party on WHBQ radio television.
Let me get it on for you.
In Memphis at the time, and it was a popular dance show that they had every Saturday afternoon. The teenagers would come and dance, and Wink Martindale and I would introduce the songs and the people and the children, the teenagers that were there. And he watched that show a lot. And one Saturday after the show, he had Lamar Fike call me on the phone, and he wanted a date to see me that night.
You know that I'll always be.
He had just made Loving You when I met him. And he had this shirt on, these black trousers, and I think he had a motorcycle cap on, and he was very handsome. I mean, I have to say that Elvis was the most handsome man I've ever seen, before or after. I've never seen anybody as handsome as he. He was just very good looking, you know. And then as I got to meet him and know him, he had a very good personality. Funny, pulling pranks and laughing. When they drove up in the Cadillac, they had a big long Cadillac, and Elvis was driving. So I got in the car and sat on my side of the seat, because in those days, that's what you did. And so then Elvis started driving around, and after a while he said, are you trying to knock that door out over there? And I said, no, so let's go door just a little bit. Not very far, but just a little bit. And we would go to his house many times, and we would watch TV, listen to music. He would invite the people up from down at the gate, which were a bunch of fans, crazy girls, you know. And here I was up here his date, and these girls were just, man, they were falling all over him, wanting to sit in his lap and everything. I really did not like that, because I was his date. I had a hard time with that. He was so secretive back in those days. And he always said it was because of Colonel Tom Parker, you know. He didn't want us to take any pictures, and if I was ever with him and there was a picture made, I would look down or try to look away, you know, from the camera, and not to appear to be too happy, because he didn't want everybody to know our real relationship, you know, that we really cared for one another. He wanted to be more like, we were just girlfriend and boyfriend, and we're just dating. And then he would always come to me and say, but Little, you know, that's not really true. You're just the only one for me. You know, these are just publicity stunts. It doesn't mean anything. You're the only one I care anything about. And he had a way that he could convince you that's true. I'm telling you. On the grounds at Graceland, they would have Roman candle fights in the backyard that were just scary as everything at each other. I mean, they had no fear. Elvis included, right in the middle of them. Oh, man, and we sat and watched this, fighting with each other, at each other, you know, with these Roman candles, right at each other. Man. Sometimes we would get on the motorcycle, just Elvis and I, and ride through Memphis. These are things we did here. And then when he went to New Orleans for King Crow, you know, he would always invite me down there for a spell, and in California for a spell. The first time I went out there, he was staying at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, I believe. And I remember Ricky Nelson came up one night, and some other people, but I do remember him. But even in California, we did a lot of driving around. It was wild. He thought, as I thought, that things that went on out there were things that went on in hell. I mean, really, it was just the wildest place we'd ever seen. He wanted his family and his friends around him. He felt a stranger. He just loved Memphis better. He liked being in Graceland.
1957 was a pivotal year for Elvis Presley. In April, All Shook Up reached #1 on Billboard's Top 100 chart. In October, Jailhouse Rock premiered in Memphis to a sold-out crowd.
Everybody in old cell block was dancing to the Jailhouse Rock.
And in December, Elvis received his draft notice from the United States Army. It was a change that would jeopardize his career and affect his life forever. No one took that news harder than Elvis's mother, Gladys.
I remember them getting the notice, and I remember his mother's reaction. She was devastated, scared, sad. Many weekends when Elvis would have time away from Fort Hood, we would drive over to Eddie Fidel's house in Waco, Texas. And they were so nice, and they just loved Elvis, and they just had a room there that they dedicated to him, and that he could go and just do anything he wanted to do. I remember one time we went there, and they had a birthday cake. I think it might have been my birthday. It was in May. And they sang the song, and I got him to dance with me. You know, he didn't like to dance. But he was singing that song, Happy Birthday, Baby, happy birthday. They would always fix good food for us to eat and things that Elvis liked. It was just a place to get away from the Army.
While visiting Elvis at his hotel, Anita stumbled across a memento from Germany.
I found one letter when I was in California, and it was pressed in a book in the library outside of his bedroom. And when he came home from the...
Right, sorry guys, I had to speak to my son about his car. He hit his car yesterday. It's a write-off. I don't know, in America you may not know, when it's a write-off, it basically means it's going down the scrapyard. And it sort of wasn't completely his fault. Someone broke hard in front of him on a roundabout, and he went into it. So, but his car's gone. Yeah. So I wanted to, yeah, something was going on with that. So let's keep going, guys.
Set that day, then that's when I asked him about the letter. And in the letter it said, please call my dad. I want to come over there. And if you call my dad, I know he will let me come. He will listen to you. I miss you. I want to come bad. He just kept on like that. You know? So when he came in...
Oh, she's so full of... Do you know what? She's so full of emotion. Yeah. She means it. She remembers it like it was yesterday. Look at the look on her face. Yeah. I love her. I love her accent. She's so gorgeous. But she's reliving the moment. Honestly, it's like we're there with her.
And I said, what is this letter? Who is this? This Priscilla? You said she was just a child. He got so mad because I found the letter. He took me and he...
I bet he did. Right, so guys, I need to get back to reading this. Otherwise, we're never going to do it. We can carry on playing things like this as well on a part 2 and a part 3. The Anita Wood topic I really like, yeah? So let's just keep going. Right, so I wasn't expecting my son to come home then, so I wanted to speak to him, but so obviously she's got this thing where she has to play down the relationship because she wants to be Elvis and Colonel Tom Parker. Want the public to think Elvis is single. Yeah, obviously he's in Germany, she's back home in Graceland. Yeah. So fortunately for Mama, she didn't have time to become too sad or depressed after renewing her contract. Let me just see. What have I missed something? Of course, the press reported Elvis for every move, from his army duties to his pretty Fräuleins, who always seemed to accompany him, all of which Mama followed in the papers. You can imagine how hard that was for her too. Fortunately for Mama, she didn't have time to become too sad or depressed after renewing her contract with a raise in salary. Henry Plitt, her manager with Paramount Golf Theatres, kept her busy with a schedule that included another appearance in the New York on the Jack Paar Tonight Show. The Jack Paar Tonight Show, where Mama wowed the studio audience with her rendition of Again, because she's a bloody talented girl. She's a great singer. She's a great dancer. Very beautiful, as well as appearances on local television programs in Memphis and other parts of the country. She also had fun donning a sexy maid uniform as part of a photo shoot for a Holiday Inn advertisement. Mrs. Plitt even set up a dinner date with George DeWitt, the nationally known comedian, singer, and friend of Frank Sinatra, who opened from Old Blue Eyes in New York and Atlantic City. Of course, Mama told about this and assured him that there was nothing going on between them. It was only for publicity's sake. Whilst Elvis wasn't happy to hear that, he really couldn't say so much because he himself had used the same excuse with Mama so many times before whenever he saw photographs of him in the arms of some beauty queen. Oh, little, that's just publicity. Yeah? So, whether Elvis was being truthful when he used that excuse, I don't know, but in Mama's case, she was. Right. So, because obviously that sidetracked me, and I don't want this to go on too long. I want to jump to a letter. Let's have a look. So, let's have a look. So, I'm going to have to read a bit of the intro before we get to the letter, right? One night when Elvis called Mama Mama was bursting with good news. I finally got my picture and papers ready for my passport, and she squealed. Much to her surprise, however, Elvis grew silent. So I'm guessing this is so she can go to Bad Newheim and stay with Elvis, yeah? So she grew silent. Much to her surprise, however, Elvis grew silent. I'm sorry to have to tell you this. He finally said, but Colonel Tom Parker said no. Yeah? Needless to say, Mama's heart sank. I don't understand. You know how much I want to see you. I got all my shots and everything. I mean, come on, guys. So obviously the jabs, yeah? Whew. That must be heartbreaking. That, if you're, put yourself in Anita Wood's shoes. She's been longing for him. They've planned to marry, have kids, yeah? She's been very true to Elvis. She's waited for him. She's been very loyal, yeah? Suddenly she's told she can't come. And Elvis obviously blames Colonel Tom Parker. Had Elvis got used to his freedom? Is that what was going on here? Because I read that Elvis at first, when he first goes to Bad Newheim, was really, really missing Anita, like really missing her. So there's rumour that he was seeing other girls. There's a girl that was his secretary. I think her last name was Stefanik. I can't remember her first name. The meeting of Priscilla, I don't know if it had happened at this point. Obviously, Priscilla and Elvis were just friends. But I'd heard Elvis, is there another girl called Hella? Who wrote a book that said that she had seen Elvis for a while in Germany. You guys are going to know about the other women that Elvis may have dated whilst he was serving for his country in 1959 that he had dated. Yeah? I've heard it was as many as 4. So let's have a look. Where are we going with this? So, I'm so sorry, little, said Elvis. I want you to come so bad. He told Mama that, according to the Colonel, if word got around that she was coming to Germany, the press would have them engaged and married, and that would be bad for Elvis's public image. Son, you don't need anything like that right now, Parker said to Elvis. You need to be absolutely free for when you come back home and resume your career. Again, Elvis apologized. He seemed as upset about it as Mama was. But he's my manager, little. I have to do what he says about my career. and he says, "You coming here will ruin it." Yeah. So yeah, I get it, guys. I do understand that. Back then in the 50s, the pop stars, the teenagers were the big fans, weren't they? The big following was the teenagers. They were buying all the records. So I get it, Elvis being single. I get it. That seemed good for business. After the conversation, Elvis must have decided that if he couldn't bring Mama to Germany, he would have to start writing her. He sent her pictures, postcards, Valentine's cards, and though he didn't like writing letters, he also wrote my mama's 3 long, multiple-page, heartfelt love letters in which he poured out his feelings and reinforced many of the things that he'd been saying on the phone. The first letter from Elvis was on stationery from the hotel Grunwald. Right. So I might have to turn the light on because the writing is tiny, absolutely tiny. It gives me an excuse to warm up my coffee. I'm going to struggle to see it, to read it, because I'm blind as a bat. Let's turn the light on. Bing! Blind as a bat I am. Good it is. Lush. Okay. Don't want it too hot. Okay, that should be fine. So the wife is at trampolining, so is Tino, so is Yasmin. Tino has just started doing the trampolining. My wife is also a trampoline coach, and she used to perform for Great Britain and around the world in trampoline competition. She came 3rd in the world. Yeah, my wife. She's a talented lady. Right, I just flicked the light on. So, oh my God, that is small. Right. This is the letter. We're only going to do one, then we're going to have to come back to another part. Okay, guys? So, this is, my God, the smallest writing. I need a light. But, dear little Bitty, for the first time in 100 years, I am writing a letter. You can see why I don't like to write. The reason being, I can't write worth a damn. I just thought of so many things that I wanted to say to you, and I couldn't say them on the phone. You never know how much I miss you, baby, and how much I want to pet you and call you Whittle Bitty. Your little picture is by my bed every night before I go to sleep. I always say good night, little PP. The people over here are very nice and friendly, although they are living about 30 years behind. Don't quote me. I haven't dated a single girl since I have been here, and the reason being is I don't have time, and every time I go out of the hotel I get mobbed. Also, I haven't seen a girl yet that could speak English. You say hello to one and she says Luben Slith Ein. EP skip von Heimer Bull. Yeah, I want to explain something to you, and you have got to trust me. Believe me, because I am very serious and I want to say it. I will tell you this much. I have never ever and will never again love anyone like I love you, my sweetheart. Also, I guarantee that when I marry, it will be Miss Little Wood Presley. See, that's interesting, isn't it, guys? He guarantees he's going to marry her. So it just proved they were in love, guys. I've read quite a few things about their romance. They had a very special romance. Elvis would drive around Memphis with her and on a motorbike. She'd be holding on the back of him as they drove around Memphis, and they went to Crystal's for burgers and that. Yeah, they had a beautiful romance. Yeah, there is a lot you have to understand, though. Only God knows when the time will be right. So you have got to consider this and love me, trust me, and I keep yourself clean and wholesome. Elvis didn't want anyone else to touch her, did he? Because that is the one big thing that can determine our lives and happiness together. He wanted her to to be loyal and faithful. Of course he did. If you believe me and trust me, you will wait for me and our future will be filled with happiness. Now remember, she was stunning. She was stunning. All the best looking men would have liked Anita Wood. And she would have had some very classy, decent men after her as well. Because, you know, she really was the cream of the crop, guys. Honestly, I really believe that. I look at pictures of her in this. She's stunning. She definitely my type, 100%. Yeah. I completely understand why Elvis was really smitten by her, yeah, and didn't want no one else to have her. No matter what I am doing, whether it's in my army, making movies, traveling, or singing, I will be thinking of the time when we have our first little Elvis Presley. So have this in mind and don't get discouraged and lonely. Just remember, there is a guy that loves you and with all his heart and wants to marry you. And one more thing, honey. For goodness sake, please don't let anyone read this and don't say a word about this letter to anybody. You know how I hate that, so be careful. If you love me and you are sincere, you wouldn't want to let anybody know our intimate secrets. I better go for now, so keep happy. And remember down in your little heart that I love you, I love you, I love you. Keep writing. And then it says, yours alone forever. It's funny, he writes alone forever. And then it says, P.S. I love you. So there's just have a look here. I love Elvis is good at writing letters. That's really cute. I may as well read this last bit because there's not much of it left. Now I ask you, who could dispute that Elvis loved my mum after reading that? Most girls I know would die to receive a letter like that. Mama cherishes this letter to this day. Right, she's still got the letter, guys. It's one thing to have someone say, I love you, but it's a totally different thing to have it expressed in words that you can hold on to and read over and over again. So circumstances forced them to keep their relationship secret. At least Mama knew how much she meant to him. And she believed that once Elvis came home, it wouldn't be long before the rest of the world would finally know how much he loved her too. But seriously, she 100% thought they were the done deal. Yeah. So I'm gonna end it here because what it is, there's a section here, then there's another love letter, and then there's another love letter. So on part 2, we will. Oh yeah, there's another love letter and another love letter. So, and you can actually see the love letter. It actually shows you the originals. You're not going to see that, are you? You can actually see the original love letters. I'm going to try and just show you a couple of pictures. Unfortunately, this camera, it isn't very. It doesn't. It's a bit blurry. Yeah. So let's just see if we can show you some anyway. Yeah, I mean, I wish it would focus. It probably would focus if I knew how to use it. Let's see. I'll see if we can find a couple of pictures where they. I mean, I definitely recommend this book. I've read this book. We actually read it on here. Let's see if I can get some nice big pictures of Elvis. I mean, the pictures are. Oh, there we are. It's not very clear, but it's not very clear, guys. I'm sure if you go online, you'll find all these pictures. So we will carry on with this. We'll do a part 2. Before I go, I'll just play a bit more of a clip on this and of this interview. Just why not? Let's see Anita talking about Elvis. And then we'll come back. We'll do another part. My next video will be a defending Elvis video. So I'm going to jump around, yeah?
He shoved me up against the closet. So mad at me, just livid. And as I was coming down the back stairs into the kitchen, I heard Elvis say, I'm having the hardest time making up my mind between the two.
So why they split up, guys?
And so I just marched my little self right down those stairs.
Could you imagine how she felt though, walking down the stairs, hearing that?
And Elvis took me into the dining room and we sat down at the table and I said, I'm going to make that decision for you I heard what you said, and I am leaving. And I remember that I started crying. It was a very difficult decision to make. And I was crying, and Elvis was crying, and he just said, I pray to God I'm doing the right thing. But
See, I mean, just the fact that they were both crying, he loved her. He loved her. Does he regret this? Does he regret this? She went on to have a happy life, didn't she? A very full, happy life. You know, when I read the book, I did. My heart went out to Anita Wood. You know, she really was a decent woman. She really did hold out for Elvis. She really did think one day they'd have a family. Just wasn't meant to be. It's heartbreaking when you read the relationship start to come apart, because the beginning of the book, it is beautiful. You really, you know, when they go out on their first date and what they do on their first date, and just how the romance blossoms, yeah, and then all of a sudden, everything changes. Everything changes, and then along comes Priscilla Buelow. So let's just play another minute, and then I'll come back for part 2.
I'm letting you go.
Well, I'm not so sure you think so.
Yeah, so I'm not going to play this section because I want to do this separately, but she's telling us how it ended. It's heartbreaking, and I think, you know, if we had to choose someone that Elvis would have been happy with, of course, a lot of you will say Anne Margaret, but I have to say Anita Wood is probably top of the list. Probably. Who do you think should be top of the list of who Elvis would have been happy with? Yeah? Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this. So we're moving away from just defending all the time, and we're going to be doing much more of this. Yeah? A bit of reading. Obviously, I got 1,000 books. Yeah? But not just that. There's many other topics. Trust me, we will never run out of things to talk about. Yeah? We don't have to do defending to keep busy. So thanks, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to upload it now, and I'll see you later, alligator.